South Beach is where we go. The Eastern Conference, sunshine and hoops, a basketball palooza there as Jalen Brunson and the Knickerbockers lining up with Jimmy Butler. The Butler did it in the Miami Heat Game 4. And the setup on this, Miami entering the matchup in the East, and it was 2-1 in favor of the Heat Eastern Conference semifinals. So New York, it was a you probably should win situation or you're in some trouble. So let us discuss. If you did not watch, and perhaps not, Jimmy Butler, 27 points, and Bam Adebayo. Great name, Bam Adebayo. 23 points, 13 rebounds, and a partridge in a pear tree as the Miami Heat able to squeeze past the New York Knickerbockers, 109-101 the final. So Miami takes a 3-1 lead. The Heat never trailed in the second half. The Knicks were within striking distance through most of the game. It was never a rout or rout, but yet in the end, the Knicks were unable to close the margin. But the better story is in the loser's side, and so that is where we go. And a lot of bluster regarding one guy and one guy in particular, Julius Randle of the Knickerbockers, as he is getting harassed for his performance there, criticism from the media elite in New York and those that are just casual basketball observers. So let us discuss the question, does Julius Randle deserve the blame for the New York Knicks falling behind 3-1 in this series? So I'm nodding my head yes on this. I've got election, travel agent, and British rock band. And we will combine all of these things together, and we are going to make a nice trip to the beach, because things are going that direction for the Knicks, where they will be heading to the beach. But we start with this. Number one. Julius Randle, you are the owner. I know the NBA doesn't like talking about owners and all that stuff. Well, I guess we can call him the governor. Maybe Julius Randle's the governor, not the owner. He's the governor of this in NBA lingo, but you got to own it, right? When you do inventory, and I have no skin in the game. I don't know. I got family in New York, but they don't even like sports. And I know some people in Miami, but I'm not that close with them. So the answer, from my perspective, I'm neutral. I am neutral on this, but watching these games and observing what I observed here, Julius Randle does stand out like a sore thumb. And that's just the reality of the situation here. You look around. Coming into this series, he was billed as the Lone Ranger. Yeah, now what does that mean? The only Knick player, the only one that had a resume which was including an all-star appearance in 2023. That's it. He's the only guy. And so you're the all-star, handpicked as one of the top employees in that particular business. And in the playoffs, he has not been that way. In these playoff games, much like a couple years ago, Randle, to quote our friend from Rhode Island, the guy's a bum. The guy's been a bum, okay? He's been a bum, and if you didn't watch the latest game, you might peruse the box scores. He wasn't that bad. He was fine. He was all right. Don't worry about it. He was like 20 points. He had 9 rebounds, few assists in 39 minutes. That's not bad. What's wrong with that? Well, my rebuttal, having sat on my fat ass and watched this game for almost 3 hours, my rebuttal is you are self-incriminating if you are someone that has that take. Randle won the election. He is now the mayor. Congratulations, you are the mayor of Barf City. That was some barf basketball down the stretch. Now, what is my evidence? The Knicks, I mentioned, they were within reach. They could have grabbed the lead in this game. They were within reach in this game, and right there. And so they needed that push. They needed Julius Randle to turn on the afterburners. Now, did he turn on the afterburners? Obviously not. They lost the game. He had to accelerate, step up, right? Instead, Randle pitched a shutout. Okay, I don't know where you are when you're listening to this or checking out one of the online videos. I don't know where you are when you're consuming this content. But whatever you're doing, I promise you that you and I both had the same number of points in the fourth quarter as NBA All-Star Julius Randle. He played 9 minutes in the fourth quarter, and he got zippo, bupkis, nothing, zero, and he was slow on defense. You watched the Knicks' defensive rotations. He was sluggish. He missed, really missing in plain sight is the way I would describe things. Now, page number 2. So Julius Randle, after the game, obviously not during the game, he was asked about the Heat being the team to come up with more offensive rebounds and loose balls, meaning like there's certain hustle plays that are rewarded, right? In theory, you're rewarded for that. The Knicks have always been that team. They were not that team. He was asked about that, and we have the audio. Let's go to the audio tape. Here is Julius Randle's response when asked about the disparity between the Heat hustle and the Knicks hustle.
You guys haven't been able to get the amount of offensive rebounds and loose balls that you were in the Cleveland series. Just what have they done to kind of beat you at your own game almost?
And just maybe they wanted more. I don't know. That's been who we are all year. We got to find a way to step up and make those plays if we want to keep the season alive.
That quote right there will be poltergeist. That is the quote that will follow Julius Randle. Maybe they wanted it more. Maybe they wanted it more. That's the money quote. That is wild. So how does Julius Randle saying the Heat wanted the basketball win in a playoff game more than the Knicks, how does that play? It's like a record scratch is what that is. And this is the kind of an answer. And I'm never wrong about this. This is the kind of an answer that you might want to contact your travel agent because you're about to get a one-way ticket out of Dodge, an express train outbound from where you are. You mix in Julius Randle's words, which certainly seems like it'll be a great T-shirt. Maybe they want it more. Something tells me outside Madison Square Garden you might be able to buy that shirt. That it'll be a big seller. But wow, you put the words there and the performance. And down the stretch, bad body language, pouting. And he has been such a different player in the plus. And there's so many of these guys. It is fascinating. Is it like this in other sports? Maybe it is. Maybe it's just louder. The noise is louder. The decibels are louder in basketball. Is it the same in football? I know there's certain guys that vanish in the playoffs in the NFL, but I could put an all-NBA team together of guys that have been spotty at best. And you have Anthony Davis, James Harden, Klay Thompson. I would put him on that list. Julius Randle would be out there. These guys that are good regular season players that are spotty at best in the playoffs and often vanish from random games. And man alive. Now, the other part of this, what is the most embarrassing aspect for New York? What is the most embarrassing aspect? I'm glad you asked. So the most embarrassing aspect is the game plan work. What if I told you that the coaching of Tom Thibodeau is working and they're still getting their lunch handed to them? They are. It's a fact. It's amazing. The whole point, and I say this a lot. We talked about Golden State and the Lakers earlier. Golden State missed a bunch of open shots. It wasn't because of great Laker defense, but the same thing happened here. The Knicks were missing, and the difference is the Warriors are supposed to be a good shooting team. The Knicks are not, and that's the big point of demarcation. But the Knicks were getting open looks. In fact, let me give you my evidence here. I saw this. Somebody sent me this, actually. The Knicks, on open three-point shots, 14.6 open three-point shots per game in the playoffs here against Miami, are converting on 22%. That means you are a professional basketball player, plausibly your job, you're wide open, and you make roughly 2 out of 10 you make. Wide open. Nobody guarding you, not a hand in the face. Not bulldog defense. No. Matador defense. And you miss. And so that they're shooting 22% on open three-point shots, but the NBA's got a stat for everything. So they have a wide open stat, which is different, I guess, than open. So wide open. So wide open, they are getting 15.1 wide open three-point shots per game. They are shooting 33.3%, which is a half the sign of the devil. That is what the Knicks are shooting here. And so they must have really good air conditioning in Miami. That must be the problem. All right, last and final point. So what do the Heat have to do now to close out this series? Much different than the Golden State Lakers series. Golden State very much alive. The New York Knicks are not very much alive. The main thing the Heat have to do is they have to channel an old British rock band from a million years ago, from the 1960s, called Status Quo. Now, I don't even know if they're a good band or not. I just love the name because that's what the Heat need. They need the status quo. Just keep doing what you're doing. Just keep doing what you're doing. Keep the same energy, the same intensity, and take advantage of the Knicks' kryptonite. It's a fascinating dynamic that the Miami Heat defense is leaving the Knicks wide open, and they're missing on a tremendous amount of three-point shots. So just keep doing that. Let them shoot. Shooters are going to shoot. Even guys that can't shoot are going to shoot, and the Heat keep winning the hustle stats. And I'm going to assume the position that the Wall Street Titans and the fat cats who can afford to go to Madison Square Garden off Wall Street there, go uptown to Madison Square Garden, they will be very kind to Julius Randle. I'm sure they will not harass him at all, and this will be a very smooth situation. What could possibly go wrong?